Thank you to Ian for their support on Patreon.
Hello everyone, my name is Deckerlink the Trained Unprofessional, and welcome back to Tennis Ace. On the last one, we began the Keisuke prologue, and so now we're continuing the Keisuke route. As soon as I step outside the car, a wave of dry heat assaults me. The sudden shift in temperature sends a shiver down my spine. K-kun had sent one of his limousines to pick me up today, and that thing has such a powerful AC inside that I felt like I was inside of a blizzard. Well, I might be exaggerating a tad, but it's true that this thing gets cold as hell. Good evening, sir. The young master has been expecting you. Oh, right, that's Keisuke. I'm not used to hearing him being called that way. The fox chuckles, his voice carrying softly, almost melodically through the air. I have to say, he does have a certain air of elegance to him, even if he is a butler. I mean, even if he is a butler, butlers are elegant. I guess that's to be expected for someone that works with the rich. I suppose there are many things that the young master that would surprise you. I'm not sure if surprised is the right term for the situation here. Well, no matter. Shall I take you to the young master's room? Or maybe you'd prefer to eat something before you go to him. I could offer you some tea. No, that's fine. I already had lunch. I understand. In that case, follow me. With a smile, the butler calmly points down the hallway and turns to walk away from me. Did Keisuke grow up with this kind of pampering every day? In that case, I think he actually turned out more down to earth than I'd expect. The more you know. Excuse me, young master, your guest has arrived. Benjamin-san. Thank you for bringing him here, Kuroda. It's my pleasure. Don't hesitate to call if I am needed. I won't. Very well. If you'll excuse me, I must return to my duties. Hey, welcome to my house, Benjamin-san. I'm happy to have been invited here again, although... Saya-chan, what are you doing here? What do you mean, what am I doing here? Am I not allowed to visit a friend? It's not what I mean. I'm just surprised to see you here since K-kun said he never invited anyone else to his place. I thought I was the first. Yes, you were the first to visit my house, if that is so important to you. I just thought that it was about time that I had someone else come over. You yourself was the one who told me that I should open up to my friends more, weren't you? So I decided to invite my other closest friend to come today. Oh, I see. I'm glad you were taking my advice. Hey, Benjamin-kun, what do you think of this place? Isn't it huge? My jaw nearly hit the floor when I first saw it. It really is. I get the feeling that I'd easily get lost in this place if I didn't have someone guiding me around. It's not just a feeling. Getting lost here isn't hard at all. Seriously? One time, right after I moved here, I got lost in the back garden. It took the servants 2 hours to find me. Sheesh, why would someone want a house this needlessly big in the first place? I'm afraid the answer isn't going to do much help to clarify stuff. From what I've learned over the years, it's for no reason other than we can. You're not like that. You're not like that, though. Why is that? Who knows? Perhaps my upbringing before I moved here gives me a little sense of perspective. It's not as if I'm perfectly average either. I'm well aware that I sometimes do or say outlandish things out of my own nativity. Like thinking a place that charges near minimum wage for a tub of ice cream is cheap? Yeah, something like that. You're still pretty easy to talk to. I was really surprised when I found out you were some mega rich kid because you really don't act like it. I'll choose to take that as a compliment. By the way, Benjamin-san, Saya-chan and I were going to play some games. Want to join us? Oh, you mean we're not going to have an obnoxiously fancy tea party? Do you even want something like that? Of course not. I'm sure it'd be very boring anyway. Thank God. I was afraid I'd have to actually entertain the idea of drinking tea. Just because others are doing it doesn't mean you have to, too. What about peer pressure? If we jumped off a building, would you just follow suit? Depends. Are we doing bungee jump? Forget it. The main point is we don't want a tea party and you don't have to have tea. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of dressing up and feeling fancy while drinking tea. I wonder if that would make me a proper lady. That's not... I think you need to grow a pair of... This motherfucker just said, I think you need to grow a pair of boobs first if you want to be considered a lady. Dude, are you trying to get stabbed? Are you trying to get stabbed? Because that's how you get stabbed. That is prime stab-worthy shit, man. There's the wreck and scratch and everything. Keikun makes a weird choking sound, trying to look at Saya with a gaping, turning to look at Saya with a gaping mouth. The words slipped out of my mind before I even gave him much thought. I mean, you're already a real lady, Saya-chan. I begin to cower from her, turning a few steps back, anticipating the physical punishment that undoubtedly awaits me. With this build-up, either she's gonna go nuts or she's not gonna react at all. Instead, Saya blinks, looking at the two of us confused. Why are you guys staring at me like that? Huh? Saya-san, didn't you hear what he just said? I did? I mean, he's not wrong. What? Who are you and what did you do to Saya? What, am I supposed to turn into a fire-breathing dragon every time someone makes a joke at my expense or something? Yes. That's what we've come to expect from you, of you, over time anyway. Just yell at me already so we can get this over with. What? No! Come on, it's for my own peace of mind. What do I have to do with your peace of mind? I have to admit, this feels really weird. What? I don't want to just go around whacking people upside the head whenever they tease me. Really? Because all the experience I've had dealing with you over this past year tells me otherwise. Seriously, what's with all those bruises we got in the past for making jokes then? That's for when you cross the line. And talking about your non-existent breasts isn't crossing the line? Stop calling them non-existent! See, this does upset you. Why the hell aren't you hitting me? Saya huffs, her nose twitching multiple times with all those big jets of air. Has it ever occurred to you that maybe I don't want to be that kind of violent person anymore? I sneer, shaking my head sideways. Yeah, right, as if I'm ever gonna buy that excuse. What? It really is hard to believe. Hey! You're like the most violent person I know. Ditto. Do you two really have such a low opinion of me? Saya-san, there's a difference between an opinion and a fact. She grits her teeth, clenching her fists in what are telltale signs of her fury. Did I get invited here just so the two of you could mock me? No, but at this point, I'm not sure if you're really here. Perhaps I'm dreaming this whole thing up. That is one way to explain her weird behavior. Just shut up already! Ow! Why did I get slapped too? You joined in and mocked me too! That wasn't mocking. I was legitimately concerned that something was wrong. See, I told you, you are violent. Damn, this stings. At least all you did was... at least all is right with the world again. I don't like this outcome, but at least it's one that makes sense. You two suck! She crosses her arms, grumbling unhappily. Jeez, now I've lost a bet too. Bet? What bet? She looks away with a huff. I notice that her cheeks are slightly reddened now. It's none of your concern. Wait a second. As soon as she hears the tone of my voice, Saya's entire body freezes. Did you make a bet with someone that you'd be able to stop hitting people or something of the sorts? Because that would make a lot more sense. As if he noticed it too, Keisuke looks over at Saya, who is now making it a point to look away from us. I don't know what you're talking about. Saya-san. Keisuke's voice comes out abnormally stern, almost commanding. Saya jumped and straightened herself out immediately in response. Please tell me that I did not just get hit because of a bet. I mean, it wasn't because of the bet, exactly. I slapped you because you were... So this bet does exist. And if it weren't for this so-called bet, you would have reacted with Benjamin-san first teased you, and I would have remained uninvolved in the whole thing. I mean, not exactly. Saya-san. Saya gulps loudly, looking away from the two of... How much can she look away from us? Are you freaking kidding me? Who even makes a bet like that? Not hitting people should be a matter of common sense. Indeed. What a vulgar little wager. Jeez, dial down the judgment a little. No. Gah. Who'd you even make a bet with? Anyone who knows any of us, even just a little bit, would have been able to predict something like this happening. Like this happening? Well, what? Of course not! It doesn't take much to imagine that we'd be confused if you suddenly stopped acting like normal. It also doesn't take much to imagine that you'd eventually reach your breaking point if we kept making comments about it. What you guys are suggesting here would require a prophetic degree of foresight. Would it? Would it really? Of course it would. This whole idea is ridiculous. As much as I hate to admit, it's hard to think of a person that could make these kinds of leaps in logic. Without the gift of hindsight, it would take a lot of imagination. No, I can think of just the person. Really, who? 1 second. Hello, Benjamin? Were you the one that made the bet with Saya? On the other side of the call, laughter begins to echo. Seems he wasn't able to keep a straight face through the phone. Did she lash out at you guys yet? You knew this would happen. Who'd you call? Ghostbusters. Keisuke stands around, confused. He leans closer to me in an attempt to hear Shuichi's voice on the other end of the line. Meanwhile, Saya's looking away from us both. Of course I did. I know you and Saya better than anyone else. It's not hard for me to imagine you piling on the grief on her until she cracked. I swear I'm gonna hit you tomorrow. Be my guest. In the meantime, this is punishment for not inviting me along. I can't invite you to someone else's house. I know. That's why I made sure that this would happen with Urashihara around. That way he gets punished too. You're evil. Perhaps. Either way, I've got to go. Have fun. Oh, and remind Saya-chan that she owes me 6,000 yen. Who was that? Shuichi. What? I'll kill him. I'll just kill him tomorrow. Not if I get to him first. Aren't you guys going a little too far over a prank? I got slapped over that prank of his, so no. To be fair, you would have gotten slapped regardless. I'm the only one here who's gotten hit unduly. What? No way! He's right though. I would have slapped you after that first comment if it weren't for the bet. You hit me and now you're gonna side with him? Side with him? There are no sides here. What are you talking about? That's close, but never mind. My check is still tingling. My check! Slap me right in the checkbook. I feel like I've been played. We've all been played. It was mostly Saya. Do you want me to hit you again? No, ma'am. Spineless. Be quiet. Well, feel free to continue grumbling like a child. I'm gonna get back to what we were doing here before. What, you mean you won't help me plot Shuichi's demise? Demise? What are you, a child? I'm just gonna try to have fun like we were going to. Yeah, Benjamin-kun, I'm the one who lost money here. Why are you complaining? Does my dignity mean nothing to you people? No. Nuh-uh. Not one bit, in fact. You two are horrible. It's my pleasure. Now, to choose a game to play, or what console to play. Why don't you just help us, Benjamin-kun? That way it'll go faster. Jeez, no one really cares at all. Stop mumbling to yourself and get over here already. You're so mean. Yeah, haven't you heard? I'm horrible. Now get to it. What's the point? We can't play most of these games with only 3 people. So yeah, that's true. Fuck. Gonna drop a fuck on them. What? Did I just hear you curse? The prim and proper K-kun? You heard nothing. I'm pretty sure you heard nothing. Well, okay, I heard nothing. Keisuke sighs, rubbing his forehead, his nose and brow twitching repeatedly. What will we do? Should we just play normal 2-player games and trade controllers? We could also just pick some 4-player party game and play against a CPU. Playing against a CPU is super boring. It's better than having to trade controllers. That means 1/3 of everyone will be spent not playing. That's true. Actually, I have an idea. Oh? Keikun fiddles with his phone, typing something on it. There, it shouldn't take very long now. What did you... You called me? Yeep! Just then a towering, muscled wolf wearing a tight butler vest walked into the room. His eyes looked stern and unapproachable, definitely not the friendliest person I've seen. It seems Alex hasn't changed at all since I last met him, although I suppose that's to be expected. Big. The wolf's ears twitched at those words, focusing his eyes on the frightened-looking bunny. Calm down, Saya-chan, he's a friend. This is Alexander. He's been my butler and friend for years. Feel free to call him Alex. Hello. The wolf nods at us, looking us both up from top to bottom. I'm also his bodyguard. That is my main occupation. There's no need to bring that up, Alex. It's not like I'm in need of protection in the first place. Oh, you mean to tell me that I imagined the pay cut I received after your wallet was stolen just a few days ago? Fair point. The wolf's eyes settle on me. Even though I know I shouldn't, I still get a little nervous when the piercing gaze is pointed right at me. If I remember correctly, you're Benjamin, yes? Yeah, we met a while ago. Nice to see you again. His voice and expression are so maddeningly devoid of emotion. What's with so many people around me being so hard to read? And you're the one that was with Keisuke when his wallet was stolen. My stomach immediately sinks at those words. Oh god, he's gonna blame me for this, isn't he? Alex. Keisuke's fur bristles around his neck as he stares dangerously at the wolfman that easily towers over him. Without even looking at his employer, Alex holds up the hand as if to say, wait. Thank you for teaching this foolish fool about how careless he's been. Keisuke, Sai, and I nearly hit the floor with our jaws once he utters those words. Then, as if to say that we were having fun, he was having fun at our expense when we thought he was going to have to chastise me, the corners of his mouth quirk up in amusement. Did you just call me a fool? Twice? I'll call you that a third time if need be. Maybe even a fourth for good measure. Alex! Saya looks away from the two, covering her mouth as she attempts to keep herself from bursting into laughter. Don't laugh! You seem to be very, very flustered at the moment. Should I get you some tea? Don't tease me either. Tease me. These two have a friendlier relationship than I thought they would, considering their circumstances. I guess I was worried over nothing, huh? Regardless, Benjamin, thank you for going through with the trouble of helping this fool get me a gift. It was ultimately unnecessary, but I still appreciate the gesture. There it is, you just called me a fool again. Yes, I did. You have good ears, young master. Don't call me that. It just sounds gross when you do it. As you wish, my lord. We're not in the Dark Ages, Middle Ages. I see. Forgive me, your grace. Now you're just mocking me, aren't you? What was your first clue? Even if I'm unable to hold back my laughter as they continue to bicker even I am unable to hold back my laughter as they continue to bicker amongst themselves. Or in this case, Keiko continues to bicker with what is basically a giant brick wall as Alexander's facial expression doesn't shift even a little bit through this whole exchange. Yeah, make fun of me, why don't you? Excuse me, Keisuke, but if you're just going to sulk around instead of telling me what you wish for me to do, then may I be excused? I'm not gonna take the bait this time. Oh, too bad. I'm 1 for 2, I guess. The reason I called you over is because we need another player. One other play? Alexander at first begins to repeat Keisuke's request until the words sink in and he starts looking from here to the entertainment center right next to us. After a few seconds, he wordlessly points at the video games and then back at him as if he was asking confirmation on the seemingly absurd request he had just been given. Yes, I am asking you to play games with us. Keisuke, I hardly think that's there, you're my personal butler among other things, no. That means you do what I ask you to do. I'm asking you to play games with us. I hardly think that's a complicated request. The wolf raises an eyebrow as if he's still having trouble believing the words he's hearing. While that is the gist of things, I don't think your grandmother would approve of such a thing. Grandmother doesn't approve of anything. Besides, the old hag isn't home right now, is she? No, the mistress is visiting a friend's estate in the next town over and isn't expected home until tomorrow. See, there's nothing to worry about. I disagree. And I see your mind is made up. It is. You'll play games with us. End of story. The wolf closes his eyes, pondering those words for a while. Very well. Either way, this is hardly the most absurd request you've made for me over the years. There's some truth to that, yes. Saya lifts her hands as if she were trying to ask a question of a teacher in class. I'll admit it's hard to find an opportunity to interject in the middle of their conversation. Kinda like there was no space left for someone else in that exchange. My neck fucking hurts. What the hell? I guess she's gonna ask how we'll choose the pairs. That's what I was gonna ask. I have no idea what's going on right now, but Mr. Wolf looks really climbable. Can I climb him? What? Even Alexander's expression falters for a second, looking at Saya with confusion and incredulity transparently showing on her face. I'm not a rock climbing wall. Aww. For some reason, she seems incredibly dejected at her weird request being denied. Saya-san, please have some sense of timing. When is it ever the right timing for you to ask to climb someone? Fair point. I clear my throat, calling everyone's attention towards me. If I may redirect this conversation back to normality. Please do, I beg you. How will we decide on the pairs? I know we haven't decided on what game we're going to play, but it should be much easier to decide what we're going to do and what we're going to be playing with first. That's true. I think I'd be able to get along well with whoever I were to pick as my partner. So maybe it wouldn't be fair for me to be the one choosing. On the other hand, if we were to leave it to chance, I'm the only one that does well no matter the result. That's true. Maybe we should have Alexander pick, since the only good pairing for him would be with you. While I appreciate the sentiment, I believe the guest should get to pick before the servant. That's a surprisingly hardcore thing to answer, even if it's true. What should we do, Benjamin Coon? Maybe we should flip a coin to decide which of us get to pick. I like that idea. Let's go with that. Do you have a coin? No. Then that's a stupid idea. Why'd you suggest that? What happened to you liking the idea? Jeez, so quick to judge. I have a coin. Here, I'll flip it. Benjamin-san, you call it. Why does Benjamin Coon get to call it? Because it was his idea. Saya grumbles unhappily, crossing her arms and tapping her foot a few times. That's fair, I guess. Okay, call it before I flip. I always pick tails. Tails. Alright, I'll flip it now. It's heads. Nah, fuck that. Heads. I'll flip it now. It's heads. Benjamin-san gets to pick. Rats! I'm a sore loser. She merely huffs in response. Who you pick as your partner? That's a very good question. Keisuke. Keisuke, I choose you. What am I, a Pokemon? Something like that. Wait, does this mean I get Alex? Yeah, sorry if you don't. Cool! She immediately hops right next to the wolf, who stares at her with confusion. Can I climb you? We've been over this. Aww. Glad to see Saya-san is happy. Your guess is as good as mine. Well, might as well take this chance to show him who's boss. Damn right. Though I never thought I'd hear you using that expression in my life. It took a lot of digging around before we each found games that we wanted to play. Alexander refrained from joining the discussion on what we should play, but he still picked up a game from the pile. Guess he's just not very vocal about his preference. Either way, since we couldn't settle on which one we'd choose with everyone having a different opinion, we decided to leave it to chance again. The four of us played rock, paper, scissors until the winner was decided. In this case, it was Keisuke. Did we really have to go with a tennis game of all things? I won that competition fair and square. I get to pick. But it's so boring! You're a tennis player. I can even say something like that. Playing tennis is only fun if you're actually playing it. Tennis games are just dull. I actually agree with Saya-chan on this one. You guys make me sad. Besides, isn't this going to be hard for Alex? He's the only one here who isn't a tennis player. Does he even know the rules? I do. There's no need to worry about me. See, is my partner awesome? We haven't even loaded it into the game yet. Save the gloating for later. We're gonna ruin your asses, just you wait. At least learn to trash talk properly. Trash talk properly. It sounds like a line straight out of a gay porn movie. How would you even know? Hey, imagination is a thing that exists, you know. Translation, I have no idea, I just wanted to say that, right? Pretty much. You're ridiculous. Saya leans towards Alexander's ears. The wolf curves himself down so she can reach him on the tip of her toes. Let's just let them implode before we start, then we'll have it in the bag. I heard that. Same here. Let's just pick our players and get started already. I suddenly feel an itch to play. How should we divide our tasks? Should we have one player dedicated to the baseline, or the other to the net? Sounds good to me. I'll let you handle the baseline since you have better sense for that. Got it. I think your attempt at stealthy trash talking just served to fill them with motivation. Damn. We look through the list of full famous professional players in the current circuit and immediately pick the ones we want to play as. I pick Waluigi! Keisuke picks a player well known for his precise volleying and good footwork. I pick a player that has strong shots and serve. Alex goes with a defensive player while Saya picks an ultra-aggressive serve and volleyer. Right of the bat, I can already tell that this isn't the most realistic game out there. No matter how much power I put into my shots, they always seem to land inside the court with no problems. Not only that, it seems that timing is absolutely irrelevant in this game. You just press the button when you feel like it, and as long as the ball hasn't gone past you yet, you get it perfectly. Not the most engaging way to start a match, but I guess it'll have to do. It's not like they can do a perfect one-to-one conversion of the real-life game into this virtual system. Wonky controls aside, there doesn't seem to be much cohesion to what Sai and Alex are doing. They're just kind of doing their own thing with no rhyme or reason. I'm going to try a sharp angle shot that'll leave us a little open. Walk it back a few steps to increase your defensive range. It'll do. On the other hand, with Keisuke being barking out short, cohesive orders, it's hard for us to not be organized. It's not very fun getting constantly told what to do, but I'll just let it slide since what he says usually is the ideal thing to do regardless. Yeah, that's right. If we get them at this way, they'll go at them this way. They'll have no choice but to back up into a more defensive position. K-Kun, stop analyzing us. Don't be ridiculous. If you can't play with using your brains, then that's your problem. I'll use mine, thank you very much. I would so hit you for that comment just now but I can't let go of my controller. I will allow no such thing under my watch. Careful, Saya-chan. If you try to hit K-Kun with Alex around, he might just throw you out the window. So annoying. We chose to only play one set match, so it wouldn't go on for very long. Tennis games, even the less realistic ones, have an annoying habit of being super realistic when it comes to time, and time it takes to get through a match. Sai and Alexander's play is disorganized enough that we have a clear advantage, but not so much that we can just blaze through them. As a result, the game turns into a slogfest where one side is playing very aggressively and the other very defensively. The match ends up going really long. Since we're talking about a video game where stamina and mental state aren't a thing that exists, there's never a point where one side just can't keep up anymore. It takes us almost a full hour just to get through the first set. The end result is predictably a total victory for Keisuke and I. Alex didn't play badly, despite not having any experience with tennis, but the lack of organization between him and Saya meant that they lost many easy points or attempted to go on the offensive and left areas of the court open. We get by with a 6-3 score, overall not a bad result for the two of us. It was so easy I almost feel bored by the result. Now you're just saying stuff you know will annoy me because I can't hit you. Why don't you give it a try? I've always wanted to see a flying bunny. You're so dead tomorrow. Perhaps, but for today, I'm just gonna have fun at your expense. I hate you. No, you don't. No, I don't. Shall we try again? I guess we could play one more set. Of course we'll play again. I'm not quitting until I win. We don't have all night to play just to satisfy your ego. Rude! Not rude, honest. But I suppose there's no harm in playing one more set. Ah, the famous last words. Just one more won't hurt, then they go on to do it over and over again. The hours seem to pass by leisurely as we continue to play games and joke around. It's surprising to see Keikun playing and laughing like this. It's so rare for him to lower his guard in front of other people, or at least I myself don't see it often. Maybe Alex is more used to these kinds of things. These two have known each other for quite a few years already. When I think about it, I feel weirdly jealous of that. Despite how stuck up he can be at times, Keikun jokes around so freely with Alex. I wish he could act the same way around me more often, too. Benjamin-san, you're spacing out again. Sorry, what were you saying? It was nothing super important. We were just trying to decide on what to have for dinner. I don't know if you noticed, but it's already starting to get dark. Wait, really? I look out the window, and sure enough, the sky has started to darken. Huh, didn't notice it at all. Of course you didn't notice. You were spacing out as always. As always, I take offense to that. Sai-san is right. You space out all the time, almost as much as Kobayashi. Of course you two would gang up on me. Telling things how I see them is very different from ganging up. Either way, what were you thinking so hard about? Oh, it was nothing much, just thinking about random stuff. Huh, that's less interesting than I thought. Well, not that it matters anyway. Do you have any idea what you guys want to have for dinner? I'll have Kuroda-san. I'll ask Kuroda-san to fetch us whatever you guys want. I want sushi! Oh, I'll go for whatever you guys want. There's no real point in trying to pander to me anyway, since I eat most things. Most things, huh? Except for anything that has tea, pepper, or milk. Wow, I'm surprised you know that. I've learned my lesson. I'm making an effort to get to know my friends better. I also might have asked Sai-chan a bunch of stuff about you. Huh. So you were serious about that stuff you said about being more attentive friend and whatnot? Of course I was. I'm a man of my word. Besides, it's embarrassing not to be able to treat the people who always take such good care of me with the same degree of care. I think you're exaggerating things just a tad. Yes, besides, you're hardly a man yet. You're just 17. What? I don't have to be 20 to be a man. I'm already plenty responsible enough. Not according to the law, you're not. Sheesh, you always have to burst my bubble. Yes, it's one of my favorite hobbies. The wolf shows a hint of a smile when he says those words. Even if he seems stern all the time, the way he talks to and treats Keisuke is almost brotherly. You're terrible. Thank you, I aim to be. Either way, should I order sushi then? Yeah, I'm fine with that. Sushi's pretty good. Yay, sushi! You don't need to get so excited over something so simples. So simples. But sushi is amazing! If you say so, I won't disagree. Let me go. The door to Keisuke's room is suddenly opened without warning. Is it his dad? Oh, whoa, shit. Oh, that's the grandma, isn't it? My apologies for the intrusion, young master. Kuroda, one of Keisuke's butlers, walks into the room with another white hair that I don't recognize. It's an older woman wearing some very expensive-looking clothes. The scowl on her face is terrifying enough that I can imagine children crying upon just glancing at her. As soon as she walks in through the door, Keisuke's entire body stiffens up. Even Alex seems to respond in a similar way, although there is no change in his facial expression. As I'm left wondering who this person might be, she looks over the room, her eyes pausing on Sai and I for just a second before moving on, an incredible measure of disgust on her face. I see that the servants were not joking when he told me that you had guests. It seems you didn't even seem to think of seeking permission before inviting these people over to my house. It almost felt like she was biting her tongue to avoid calling us something else. By the way she looked at me, she was already unfriendly enough that I dared not speak a word. These are my friends, grandmother. I hardly think I need permission to invite them to my house. Your house? How odd. I don't remember seeing your name on the scripture for this estate. Last time I checked, it wasn't in your name on it. It wasn't your name on it either. It was my father's name. So I don't think I need to be asking you for permission. The woman narrows her eyes, pursing her lips so much that they start to look like a single thin line. She glances at the TV, in which the last game we played is still being displayed for all to say. All to say? It's all to see.
And what about this? Wasting your time on games? Don't you have better, more productive things to do if you have such free... if you have so much free times?
So long as I produce acceptable results, then the way I spend my time is my own business, grandmother. You do well to remember that. The woman huffs, her eyes moving towards the wolf that stands behind us.
Drake.
Yes, master. The way Alexander spoke his words was almost robotic, completely devoid of any emotion. I had thought before that he didn't have put much emotion into his words before, but just now the difference was so obvious that I could notice it.
I hardly think you're entitled to skip on your work to play games.
My apologies, master.
If you understand, then get back to work. I'll see that your next paycheck reflects your poor attitude.
Yes, Matt. Hang on just a second. Alex is my personal butler. His job is to do what I tell him to do. If I tell him to play games with me, then he is doing his job. She huffs, hearing his words, opening her mouth to speak again. You don't have to cover for me. I failed to perform my duties in an acceptable manner. I'll take responsibility for it. But Alex...
Good. It seems that at least the servant still knows his place here. Come with me, then. We need to better discuss your punishment.
Yes, master. With one last look at us, the woman huffs once more, walking out of the room without another glance back. Alex follows behind her, her eyes looking much more stern and menacing than normal. Dad, young master, please contain yourself. It would not do to insult your grandmother. Yeah, right. What just happened? Keikun, that was your grandmother? Yeah, she's a nightmare, isn't she? I have no idea what she's even doing here. She was supposed to be out of the estate for the entire day. I'm sorry, young master, that's my fault. The fox looks away, his tail going between his legs as his shoulders slump. Your fault? What are you talking about? In my excitement to see you finally bringing friends over, I let it slip to one of your other servants that you had company. It seems that information was passed along to one of your grandmother's spies. And she went out of her way to come back here just to torment me. I hate the fact that makes sense.
You're kidding, right? Spies? She has spies here?
Well, this is also her house. Even if we are all servants hired by the Urushihara Corporation, not all of us have our allegiances to the same members of the family. The company is divided in factions that support different members of the family. My father's faction is nothing but puppets to my grandmother. She's the one that controls everything. On the other hand, there are those of us who are loyal to the young master and wish to see him take control of the company, but he is unwilling to do so. Kuroda, even if I wanted to do that, you know as well as I do that there's no way I could really do that. The company wouldn't be passed on to me until they were sure that they'd have a way of controlling me. Yes, that is also regretfully true. I didn't know you had so many issues in your daily life. I try to keep my family drama away from my friends. No need to involve you guys in issues you have no way of helping me with. I'm sorry you guys had to see this.
You don't have to apologize. She's the one who did it. Seriously, what's her problem?
Grandmother hates me. She enjoys taking every opportunity she has to flaunt her power over me and make me miserable. She was probably beside herself with the prospect of humiliating me in front of friends.
That's horrible! Why would you go out of her way just to make you feel unwelcome in your own home?
Because this isn't my home. Not really. I'm just a bastard to her. You think she wants to have me around? The only thing keeping me here is the fact that my father doesn't have other children. I'm pretty sure I said this before. To be honest, I didn't think you were serious about it. Why would I make shit like this up? That'd be ridiculous. Yeah, I'm sorry. Garuda, please don't take this as me blaming you, but why didn't you warn me she was coming? I wanted to, but she made sure to order me to accompany her here, just so I wouldn't have the opportunity to do so. She's sneakier than I thought. I'm coming in. Oh, Father, to what I owe the pleasure of your visit. Come on, there's no need for that sort of tone. I ran into your grandmother as I was getting home, and I was informed you had guests. From the look Alexander gave me, I imagined she came here. So you decided to come here and make your presence known to my friends. I'm touched. The older hare's smile falters for a second. He awkwardly scratches the back of his neck, looking at the butler standing next to him. Garuda, could you have dinner prepared for us? Make sure there's enough for our guests. Very well, sir. Will your mother also be joining you for dinner? No, I came up with an excuse to give her so she'd go back to a friend's place. I figured that'd give everyone some quiet time. How very kind. What are the strings attached to your favor this time? Keikun, I don't think you need to talk to him like that. Seems to be trying to help. Pfft, sure, his help always has strings attached to that. His father looked away for a second, his gaze casting itself down to the floor. If we could speak just over dinner, there's no need. If you have something you want to ask of me, then just do it already. I'll be having dinner with my friends in my own room, thank you very much. Garuda, could you have some sushi prepared and sent here, please? The fox looks between the two, hesitating for a second before speaking out. As you wish, young master. Garuda-san walks out of the room, giving us one last uncertain look before closing the door behind him. That was unnecessary, Keisuke. Keikun, I don't think you have to be harsh on your dad. He doesn't look like he means anything bad. Saya leans onto Keisuke's shoulder, whispering those words onto his ear. I see the older hare's ears twitch as he tries to listen to what she's saying, curiosity flashing in his eyes. Yeah, can't you go a bit easy on him? No matter how I look at him, I just see a man standing awkwardly in front of his son. I can't think badly of him like I do with Keisuke's grandmother. Please don't take offense to this, but you two are just outsiders looking in. You have no idea how he's like. He never comes to see me unless he has something to ask. And when I say ask, I mean order. Keisuke, I really don't think your friends need to see this. Can we please just step outside for a second to talk? Keisuke looks at the two of us for a second, the anger in his eyes dissipating for just a bit. He's probably arguing with himself about whether or not he wants to act this way in front of us. Fine. The two walk out of the room without saying another word, leaving Saya and I alone. That was surreal. I know. I feel like I shouldn't be here right now. Yeah, I got that feeling too, although I'm sure Keikun would say that we're crazy if we told him that. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure you're right. Saya looks away, biting her lip. She sits herself down on Keisuke's bed, awkwardly kicking at the floor. What do you think they're talking about out there? I have no idea. I'm honestly surprised at this whole thing. I knew his family life was tense, but I never imagined it was this much. Yeah, usually when people talk about family issues, they tend to exaggerate them a little because of anger or stuff like that. In this case, it seems like he was downplaying it instead. Do you think we should say something to him? What is there to say? Hey, I'm sorry your grandma's a bitch. By the way, I think you're too harsh on your dad. Maybe we just don't word it like that. You do agree with me, right? On what? Saya's ears flop down next to her face as she fidgets uncomfortably on her seat, clearing her throat multiple times before she speaks. That he was kinda out of line? With the way he talked to his dad, I mean, not with his grandmother, honestly, fuck that woman, she's an old hag. Yeah, I agree. It really looked to me like his dad was feeling pretty bad about the whole thing. Saya nods, her eyes glued to her feet as she moves them forward and back on the air. You think we should say something? Didn't we already do that? He wasn't exactly thrilled to hear it either. Yeah, but I don't know. It might sound stupid for me to say this since I've never really had many issues growing up, but I really think that family should stick together. If his dad is offering him an olive branch, I really think he should take it. His family problems have nothing to do with us, though. We have no business saying anything. No offense, but you're a real pushover when it comes to this kind of thing. Hey, it's true. Not our problem, none of our business. Keikun's our friend. If we see him doing something that we think is wrong, isn't it our duty to say something? Especially if we think it might help him? It sounds a lot simpler when you put it in such terms, but the reality is that he doesn't sound like he wants us to say something. He doesn't even want us to know about it. Saya jumped out of the bed, landing on her 2 feet. She looks at me with a sudden fierce look in her eyes. Well, too late for that. The cat's already out of the bag. All it takes for evil to prevail is for some good men to do nothing. I'm going to say something with or without you. First of all, I'm surprised you can even quote something as philosophical as that at all. She attempts to laugh, but only managed to elicit a dry, meek laugh. You really do have a penchant for getting yourself mixed up in other people's business, huh? Fine, I'll back you up. Smiling, Saya walks up to me, giving me a soft pat on the shoulder. Thanks. I knew I could count on you. You're a good friend. Yeah, well, I just hope being a good friend to you doesn't end up costing me another good friend. I don't think Keikun would break his relationship with us because we spoke up. Until today, we also didn't know how bad his relationship was with his family, or about their company being torn up. How much are you willing to bet on what we think of him? That's a fair point. We both jump in surprise at the sound of the door opening again, scrambling to try to pretend that we weren't talking to each other like 2 kids who were caught doing something bad until we realized we had no reason to do so in the first place. Wow, that was a long fucking... That's 1 sentence. Are you alright? I think so. Dealing with my family can be so exhausting at times. My head is spinning. I'm sorry to hear that. Keikun, there's something that we kind of wanted to say. What is it? Sai and I both look at each other, swallowing multiple times and trying to come up with the courage to say what we wanted to say. We don't think that the way you treated your dad was... that it was right. Oh, how so? It's just... We get that your grandma really is a bitch with a capital B, but... Your dad really looked like he was trying his hardest to be nice to you. I get that you think he doesn't like you either, but I'll stop you two right here. His voice came out surprisingly soft. His knuckles were pressed tightly against the palms of his hand, and his nose was flared up from anger, but his voice still came out incredibly soft and low, to the point of being hard to hear. That by itself somehow made him even more scarier than it would have been if he was yelling at us. I think he doesn't like me? What do you know about me or him to tell me what I do or do not think? Okay, I think I might have expressed myself badly there. No, you expressed yourself perfectly fine. You two don't know what my family is like, but you still think you're entitled to give me your opinion about how I deal with them. You've seen my father, what, twice? And yet you think you know him? Well, here's a newsflash for you two. You don't. I've lived with him for most of my life. He would barely ever talk to me unless it was to tell me or to do something or to censor me, so I think I know what I'm talking about when I tell you what he's like. We didn't mean to offend you or anything, we just assumed. Yes, that's the problem. You assumed. You have no idea what things are like here because I made sure never to say anything about it. Because I don't want anyone else having to get involved with my problems or having to shoulder my burdens. You don't know what it's like here. You shouldn't assume. I know what I'm talking about, okay? Believe me, I know. Is your dad really that bad? He seemed like he was trying to be nice. Seemed. My family lives on appearances. Why do you think my grandmother hates me so much? How do you think it makes her feel that her precious company is to be inherited by a bastard child? That's not an image she wants for the company, yet she has no choice. Do you want to know why she came over today? It wasn't because he wanted this... why he came over today. It wasn't because he wanted to see me or have dinner with me or to enjoy family time with me. He came to ask me to drop out of the light music club. How's it gonna look for us if people find out you're involved with a rock band or some crap like that? Because once again, what matters here is appearances. Saya bites her lip, crossing her arms and rubbing her elbows, her eyes glued to the floor. Oh, I'm sorry. I really thought he was trying to be nice. That's exactly the problem, isn't it? Oh man, it's gotten really uncomfortable in here all of a sudden. How did he even find out about that? The band, I mean. I'm not sure. I think he might have asked the principal to keep tabs on my activities in school. I wouldn't put that past either of them. So you're gonna leave the club? Hell no! Screw him! I told him if he wanted to get me out of there, then he'd have to have me dragged out kicking and screaming. It's a bit dramatic, maybe, but it still serves my point. I'm not going to stop doing something perfectly normal that I like to do just because of someone else's selfish desires. His image isn't my problem. You think he's going to try doing something to get you out? Who knows? I've never known him to be much more than a spineless jerk, but I don't know how much it takes to get him to snap. I bite my tongue to keep myself from making an unkind comment towards everything. I really don't need to deal with you two criticizing me on top of everything else. So, please don't blame Benjamin-kun. Talking to you was my idea. He didn't want to say anything. Saya, what are you doing? Telling the truth. I don't want Keikun to be mad at you for something that I forced you into doing. You didn't force me into anything. Wait, are you laughing at us? Sorry, it's just... You two are paranoid. You two are too paranoid. Paranoid? Look, it does annoy me that you guys would give me shit for stuff you don't know about, but I'm not gonna be mad at you. I know you two are only trying to help me, I can appreciate that, even if I don't appreciate how you tried to do it. So, wait, you're not mad at us? Annoyed, but not mad. You don't have to worry about it. Huh. So I was worrying over nothing here too. I guess that's partly my fault. I should have at least given you guys a basic explanation of my family dynamics before bringing you into my house. It was stupid of me to think I could do it without my grandmother or father noticing. Honestly, I'm slightly uncomfortable that you invited us over without their permission. I don't need anyone's permission to invite people here. The only reason I live here is because they want me to, so they have an easier time keeping tabs on me. I could move out if I wanted to, but it's just not worth the hassle. Couldn't your father just stop giving you money if you tried that? He could, but with the amount I've saved up, I could live comfortably without a job for many, many years. Are you kidding me? How much have you saved up? That question I'm not comfortable with answering. Jeez, you're such a tease. It's a tease? Don't mind her, she's just being annoying for the sake of being annoying. Hey! Ow! You really don't think before you talk, do you? That was obviously going to end up with her hitting you. Are you calling me violent? Is the sky blue? What? That means yes, he's calling you violent. Ouch! You're lucky Alex isn't here anymore, otherwise he'd have already thrown you out the window. Is it bad that I can totally imagine him doing that? It's a terrifying thought now that I think about it. I think I'll refrain from hitting you again while we're here. I wish you'd refrain from hitting me at all, but baby steps, I guess. Hey, Keikun. I know you said that you'll just ignore what your dad said, but aren't you in trouble with your grandmother? That's the thing I was worried about. I don't really care what she has to say about me, but the fact that Alec got punished for it really pisses me off. What kind of punishment would she inflict on him? She'll probably have him reassigned for a few days, so I won't be able to talk to him much. Not to mention a payment cut this month. That's just cruel. Unfortunately, cruel is just child's play for her. I'm just gonna pay Alex back the difference once I find out how much he discounted from his salary. Jeez, the fact that you can afford to just say stuff like that is scary. Sometimes I forget that you really are a pampered rich boy. Pampered? Who else would just go around saying stuff like, it doesn't matter if he got punished, I'll just pay him more? And that makes me pampered? I thought I was being reasonable here. Again, don't mind her, she's just trying to annoy you.
But I'm not. Sure, you can pay him back for the money he lost because of you, but that doesn't make up for all the other stuff.
Other stuff?
Yeah, getting berated for your bosses, getting blamed for something that wasn't his fault, stuff like that. Giving him money won't make him feel less crappy over that.
Kaken's shoulders slump as he leans forward, rubbing the bridge of his nose. I never thought of that. Are you sure Alex would even care about that? No offense, but the dude didn't look like the type to be bothered by it in the slightest.
You're just assuming that he can't be hurt because he looks stoic? That's just rude, Benjamin Coon.
Rude? How am I rude? Saya-san is right. Alex might look and act very detached, but he's not made of stone. He has feelings of his own, too. If he didn't, he wouldn't have bothered befriending me or putting up with my crap. I can't really argue with that. Every time I think I've done some progress in the way I act, I'm reminded that there's still stuff that I need to fix.
No one's perfect. You just have to be aware of your own flaws. Said one of the least self-aware people I know. Hey, I'm aware of my problems. I just choose not to do anything about them. What? Then what right do you have to chastise him?
Saya shrugged, shooting me a devious smile.
Do as I say, not as I do.
You're impossible.
Tee-hee.
Don't try to play it off by acting cute. It's fine, I don't mind it much.
See, Keikun agrees with me.
You're far too lenient with her. I seem to remember you doing a lot more stuff that I let slide than Saya-san. No comment. There are a lot of things I'll have to think over after all.
So we just leave you so you can be alone?
What? God, no. The last thing I want to do right now is be alone. I think you guys underestimate how much peace of mind it gives me having you around.
Huh? Really?
Yeah. I've never really felt comfortable in here. This place might be my house, but it's certainly not a home. Having you guys here makes it a lot more tolerable, though. I dare even say that it's fun.
Glad to hear we can help. Yeah, if you ever need someone to talk to, you know we're always here for you.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Mushy stuff aside, how about we look for something else we can do until Kurata comes back with the food? How about you tell us a little more about the band you joined? The band? Why do you want to know about that?
I got to meet your bandmates and all that, but I don't think Saya did. Yeah, that's true. I've only heard about you joining a band. I have no idea what they are like.
Well, I'm pretty sure here in the same class as some of our members.
Really? Who?
Ichigo-san and Kagaho-san. They're our vocalist and bassist.
Wait, really? Ichigo-chan is in a rock band? No way!
It was really surprising to me too. None of the girls look like they're the type to be in a band, but even so, they are. And they're all good at it too. It's true, I heard them playing once and I was blown away by it.
No fair, I want to see them playing too.
I'll try asking them for permission to bring you later. I don't think Minazuki would be against it in the slightest.
Yeah, Ichigo-chan and I are friendly with each other.
I guess that's fair.
Do you guys have any idea what you're gonna when you're gonna perform your first show?
They were wanting to do it at the festival. I've been trying to help organize it.
Organize it? You're not performing with them?
Me? God, no. There's no way I'd stand in front of a crowd and sing or play.
And yet you're totally fine with doing it to play tennis.
This and that are totally different things.
I'm not so sure about that. Besides, Minazuki already wants you to sing with her, didn't she?
Again, there's no way I'd do that.
Aw, but you have such a good voice.
I already said no.
Minazuki really wants you to sing, though.
I don't care what she wants. There's no way I'm standing on a stage.
Why not? I know I've never heard you sing before, but what's the harm in trying?
It's embarrassing.
So it's not because you don't think you're good enough, you're just embarrassed.
God, why are you two being so pushy with this? Being embarrassed is just part of the reason. I honestly don't think I'm anywhere good enough to play in a band.
Oh, come on, we've already told you that you're good. Minazuki also heard you sing, and she also thinks you're good. What other confirmation do you need?
It's not that simple.
Besides, the others might have heard me sing, but you're the only one who heard me playing the guitar, remember?
Look, all I know is that I really believe you can do this stuff. I think you should give it a try. I don't think I could. Gee, stop being a wuss and try already. Hey, Saya-chan, don't say it like that. What is this, some kind of good friend, bad friend routine? Oh, so I'm the bad friend, huh? I mean, wow, Saya-san, your words are so comforting. That's more like it. Keisuke breathes in relief after avoiding near certain death. I'm just not really comfortable putting myself out there with music, you know? Maybe if I were better with the guitar, I would consider that. While I can improve with guitar or tennis, I'm stuck with the voice I have. The voice you have is amazing, though. You're just saying that to make me feel better. Really? You really think I'm the nice enough guy that I'd put up with something I hate just to avoid hurting your feelings? You do it with Arata and his cooking, remember? Oh shit, he's right about that. You're the last person I'd imagine giving someone real criticism if it could hurt their feelings, Benjamin-kun. What? You're kidding, I would totally do that. Nuh-uh, you're kind of a wimp. What? How can you just say something like that? Because unlike you, I just tell people the truth. See, if Saya-san were to tell me I was good at something, then I'd believe it. So what you're saying is that you just don't trust me to be brutally honest. Exactly. You both suck. Perhaps. It's possible. Young master, I've arrived with your food. I'm not saying that word no matter what game it pops up in. Time to have dinner. Yay, sushi! Keikun sits around in the corridor, looking up at the night sky. Saya's gone home about half an hour ago, something about needing to be back early. I decided to stick around for a bit longer before heading back. Man, it used to be that you could see all the stars from here. Nowadays, they barely ever show up. I wonder what happened. It's probably from the pollution. I guess that sounds about right. Never really took you for the time to sit out, look around, looking at the stars. Well, you'd be right in assuming that. This isn't something I do often, after all. I guess the mood just struck me today. If nothing else, at least you seem to be feeling better. Much. Having you guys around definitely made my day a lot better. It's really nice to have friends, huh? Pfft, that would be an obvious thing already, bunny boy. That should be an obvious thing already, bunny boy. I could correct you. I'm pretty sure you already know the difference between a rabbit and a hare anyway. And yeah, I know it's supposed to be an obvious thing, but still. I was always afraid of letting people in because I was scared that they'd be more interested in the perks that come with befriending a guy with my social status. Now I just feel like I was worried over nothing. I wouldn't say it was over nothing. I still think you should be careful with the people you choose to spend time with. Just don't close yourself to the possibilities entirely. Yeah, I guess you're right. Thanks for encouraging me so much, Benjamin-san. I'm glad I decided to listen to you. Great, you finally come to the realization that I'm awesome and I'm always right. I wouldn't go that far. Still, you were right in this case. I should have just been more open from the beginning. It might sound silly to you, but I've spent the past few years of my life always worrying about how people saw me, what they thought of me, whether they treated me nicely because of who I am or where I'm from. It feels really good to be able to just let loose and have fun with friends. We could have been doing this from the start if you weren't so reserved. I guess we should be thanking Kenma-san for this, huh? That conky lynx, why should we be thanking him? I mean, think about it. The only reason I found out about your family was was able to give you your advice was because he pissed you off so much that he had to calm you down. I guess that's true. I still don't like the guy, though. It's fine. You don't have to like him. Besides, I doubt this was his goal anyway. Good to see we can at least agree on that. I hope you'll keep being patient with me. I know I have a lot of things I need to work on, but I want to eventually become someone you can relax around and treat just like another member of the group. Don't be ridiculous, you already are. You have no idea how happy it is to make me happy. It makes me to hear that. I enjoy spending time with you quite a lot. You should probably be heading home soon, though. It's already getting pretty late. I guess you're right. I'll go call a car for you. Thanks, much appreciated. But before that, though... Oh my, before I can process what just happened, I feel something pressing against my cheek for only just a second. What? Keisuke stands a few feet away from me, chuckling. Did you just... I gave you a small peck in the cheek, yes. Why would you do something like that? It's just a way of saying thank you. You don't say thank you by kissing. They do in Europe, Victor told me so. We're not in Europe, though. You shouldn't worry about it so much. Just an innocent peck on the cheek out of gratefulness. If you say so. I'll go get a card for now. I'll go get a car now. Wait for me here. Why is my heart beating so fast all of a sudden? Did he just do that to tease me? It does sound like a K-kun thing to do. Oh, great, now my head's all tied up in knots.